There is a kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. And honestly, I think a lot of people are living with it right now. Not just physically tired, soul tired. You wake up tired, rush through the day tired, scroll tired, work tired, even rest tired. And maybe the strangest part is this: we live in a world constantly promising us peace while simultaneously making us exhausted. The world says, hustle harder, optimize yourself, build your identity, stay relevant, stay busy, keep up, never fall behind. And beneath all of it is the promise: once you finally become enough, then you can rest. Once you make enough money, once you become successful enough, once people admire you enough, once your future becomes secure enough, once you fix yourself enough, then you can breathe. Then you can rest. But the problem is, the finish line never stops moving. There is always more to achieve, more to prove, more to fix, more to optimize, and eventually people discover something terrifying. Even when they achieve some of the things they chase, the rest never comes because human beings were never designed to carry the burden of building their own worth. And honestly, if we're not careful, even Christians begin living this exact same way spiritually. Welcome to Bible Matters. If these videos have been meaningful to you, please consider liking and subscribing. In a world full of noise, distraction, and endless pressure, my hope is that this channel can help point people back to the peace, truth, and love of Jesus. Now, in Jesus' time, people were crushed under religious burdens. Perform more, be more righteous, follow more rules, appear holy. And sometimes, as Christians today, our burdens are not so different. They just wear different colors. Now, many Christians silently carry burdens like always needing to be spiritually strong, always needing to have victory, always needing to serve, always needing to say yes. And slowly, even the Christian life becomes exhausting. Not because Jesus is exhausting, but because we burden ourselves. Sometimes we turn prayer into performance, Bible reading into performance, serving into performance, ministry into performance, and eventually we stop resting in relationship with God and start constantly evaluating ourselves before God. Am I doing enough? Praying enough? Serving enough? Growing enough? And maybe one of the saddest things is this: many Christians know how to work for Jesus, but they don't know how to rest with Him. They know how to love others, serve others, help others, but they have forgotten how to allow themselves to be loved. And I think this matters deeply because we live in a world that constantly teaches us to be strong, never weak, never needy, never dependent. So people learn how to perform strength, even spiritually. But Jesus never asked us to pretend we are strong. In fact, the gospel begins when weary people finally admit, I'm tired, I'm burdened, I can't carry this anymore. And that's exactly why Matthew 11 is so beautiful. Jesus says, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Notice that Jesus does not say, come to me once you fix yourself. He doesn't say, come to me once you've become impressive. He simply says, come to me. That's the invitation. Not to performance, not to self-salvation, but to relationship. And maybe this is the deeper issue underneath our exhaustion. Many of us do not know how to simply receive love anymore. We only know how to earn value. We feel valuable when we achieve, we succeed, we help others, we produce, we stay useful, people approve of us. But when we stop, we feel guilty, anxious, restless, because deep down, we're afraid that if we stop performing, maybe we are not worth much anymore. But Jesus offers something radically different. He offers rest before accomplishment. The world says, achieve first, then rest. Jesus says, rest in my love first. That is radically countercultural because Jesus is not asking you to build your identity. He is inviting you to receive one. Beloved, child of God, loved before achievement, love before success, love before performance. And honestly, I think many Christians struggle to experience the love of God because they are always trying to do something for God. But what if, for once, you simply sat in the presence of Jesus and allowed yourself to be loved? Not because you earned it, but because that is who He is. Children understand this naturally. A child rests in a parent's arm without needing to prove usefulness. But adulthood slowly teaches us to be productive, to be impressive, justify your existence, and eventually people stop living like beloved children and start living like machines. Maybe that's why Jesus says we must become like little children again. Not to be childish, but childlike, dependent, trusting, open to love, and maybe true spiritual maturity is not becoming more impressive. Maybe it's learning how to become loved by God again. So what does this practically look like? Honestly, it may mean radically eliminating hurry from your life, because hurry destroys awareness of God. It may mean saying no more often, leaving margin in your schedule, letting some emails wait, not answering every notification immediately, putting your phone away, taking walks without constant stimulation, praying honestly instead of performatively, eating slowly with people you love, sleeping without guilt, allowing imperfection, letting some things go wrong, and being okay with it. Now, that last one is important because many people are exhausted trying to control everything: the future, people's opinions, outcomes, success, failure. But rest requires trust. Trust that God is still God, even when your life is imperfect. Jesus slept through storms. Think about that. The disciples panicked. Jesus slept. Not because He didn't care, but because He trusted the Father completely. And maybe some of us are exhausted because we are trying to carry both the world and ourselves. But Jesus never asked us to carry either alone. That's why the cross matters. Because on the cross, Jesus carried your sin, your shame, your striving, your endless need to prove yourself, so you could finally rest. Not in your performance, but in the love of God. And maybe that is the invitation today. Not try harder, but simply come to me. And maybe true rest begins the moment you stop trying to save yourself and allow yourself to finally be loved by Jesus.